This morning on Today in AZ, new details emerge in the wake of two mass shootings, what we've learned about the victims and the gunman in Dayton, Ohio.
Our team coverage continues in El Paso with what President Trump has planned following these tragedies. Team 12's Caribe Divine reports from Texas.
And Governor Doug Ducey wants to revive a law that would make it harder for people who pose a potential threat to keep their guns. We'll explain this morning on Today in AZ. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Gerke alongside Rachel McNeil. This morning our coverage continues of the two deadly mass shootings in Dayton, Ohio and El Paso over the weekend. Vigils have popped up all over the country to honor the 31 lives lost when two gunmen in two different cities fired assault weapons at innocent, defenseless people.
In El Paso, at least 22 people were killed when a gunman shot rounds into a Walmart full of customers. Police managed to take the shooter into custody. He could face a list of charges, including those for a hate crime on top of his capital murder charge. Families of those killed have one message: show love while you can.
Hug your kids and love them, because you don't know in America now, when they leave, they may not come back.
My heart goes out to the families that have family members that they've lost, and especially in the horrific way that they've lost them.
Investigators say the suspected shooter posted an anti-immigrant manifesto online just 20 minutes before he opened fire on back-to-school shoppers. Well, this week is off to a rough start, but thank you so much for putting your trust in us. I'm Rachel McNeil.
And I'm Paul Gerke. When dealing with a double dose of trauma in quick succession, it can be difficult to keep the facts straight. But this morning, we're going to do our best to help you sort through these tragedies. Our team coverage continues with Team 12's Jen Wall in just a moment. She has new information on the deadly shooting in Dayton. But first, let's send it out to Caribe Divine, who is in her hometown of El Paso, Texas.
Americans are demanding action on gun control. President Trump is too, calling on Congress to pass legislation to stop the tragedies, and also one of his strongest stands yet on white supremacy.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
The president is also calling for bipartisan solutions, including better early detection of mass shooters, curbing violence in the media and in video games, and reforming mental health laws.
Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun.
But the president is giving no hint how to achieve the goals, and also absent, calls for the Senate to vote on gun safety measures the House has already passed.
Those are easy. The public wants them. Universal background checks. There's nothing controversial about them.
Meanwhile, some think the president bears responsibility with anti-immigrant rhetoric, similar words written by the El Paso shooter.
The president has helped to create the kind of violence that we saw here in El Paso. His description of Mexican immigrants as rapists and criminals, his use time and again of the word invasion to describe immigrants and asylum seekers, calling them an infestation. It is that kind of fear that he wants us to feel, that kind of hatred that has now expressed itself in this kind of violence.
We're in El Paso, Texas. Caribe Divine, Today in AZ.
Caribe, thank you. In Ohio, a similar scene. Family and friends are grieving the loss of their loved ones there.
A masked gunman killed at least 9 people when he opened fire outside a downtown bar in Dayton, Ohio. Team 12's Jen Wall joins us in studio right now. Jen, what have we learned about the victims?
That's right. Good morning to you guys. So we now know the ages of the victims range from 57 to 22 years old. The youngest there is the sister of the alleged gunman. And now many are still gathering in the city, finding strength in being together. This as families are now having to plan unexpected funerals. One mom saying she's at a loss after her daughter was killed on a girls' trip to Dayton. Authorities also questioning how the alleged gunman did not recognize his own 22-year-old sister, who is also among the victims. Also killed a 25-year-old grad student and 27-year-old nursing student and mother of 2. That's according to the Dayton Daily News. The alleged gunman wearing a bulletproof vest, shooting 9 people in just 30 seconds over the weekend. Police stopping him before he could enter a popular bar in Dayton and kill even more. And now, while loved ones grieve, you can see investigators are also hard at work trying to get to the bottom of what led to this tragic killing spree.
I'm broken. Not only was she my daughter, we were friends, best friends.
It's about our community and how much we care about each other.
So the White House is now confirming the president will travel to both Dayton and El Paso tomorrow. And of course, we will have continuing coverage. Paul?
Thank you very much, Jen. The gun control debate is now back in the headlines. Lawmakers calling on congressional leaders to return from recess and pass a bill that would require gun purchasers to go through a universal background check. Meanwhile, here in Arizona, Governor Ducey is expected to push for the so-called red flag gun law, which would allow police or concerned family members to petition a judge to then take guns away from people who pose a threat. The governor has pushed for this before, but failed to get it passed. And a lot of you have strong opinions about it. Let's take a look at some of your reaction on Facebook right now. Dawn says, what an amazing law this would be. Awesome, Governor Ducey. But not everyone feels that way. Anthony doesn't want you coming after his guns. He says Second Amendment was made for exactly this reason. Some people don't think that it's far enough, including Alan, who says so on Facebook. Ellis pens a pretty long response here and says, I can't believe you think you need a law for that. If I ever have a family member or neighbor who appears to have a gun problem, I'll take their gun away myself, as I've done before, my way. Yes, the shotgun was later turned over to police after they arrived. No, I don't think you need a law for common sense. You can download the 12 News app right now and get the facts on how you can help the victims of these shootings. You can also find more of Caribe's stories from El Paso posted there. If you'd like to share a reaction, you could do so on our Twitter or Facebook pages. We'll have more from Caribe in just a few minutes here on Today in AZ.